Egunon, bienvenidos a tomar un café Lavazza con el director de la película The New Boy, una producción australiana en la que participa también en la producción Kate Blanchett y que ahora que participa en la sección de Perlak del Festival de Donosti y que ahora tenemos la suerte de tener al director para que nos cuente un poquito más sobre la película. Good morning, Warwick.
Hello, how are you?
We were talking right before we start recording that how it will be like to make a film without talking, just being. How will it be like for you?
I made a film a long time ago called Samson and Delilah that was pretty well, it was about two teenagers falling in love. And they never spoke in the whole film. There was, I think the girl in the film, Delilah, said one word in the whole movie. And it's the fear and the angst of falling in love for the first time. And we see a lot of cinema where a 13-year-old boy or girl does this monologue of how love is and how they feel about love. And when I fell in love for the first time, I could not speak. And I threw rocks at the person I was in love with. And that was my gesture of love, is to throw rocks at them, which is much more powerful for me, rather than the big monologue about how you feel. It's sort of like, that's not who I was when I fell in love. It was a much more painful, couldn't explain energy, emotion, rather than words. Yeah. So it happens. It happens, and I think good storytelling is not about witty dialogue, or it's not about good writing. It's about the space between the words. It's much more important to me than the actual words.
It's where everything is, right? The space between the words.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is an idea that we can connect with your new film, with The New Boy.
Mm-hmm.
This space between the words, this space that is like in that remote place,
Yeah.
where you want to talk about what is what it is that you want to tell with this film.
The new boy is not speaking, he's listening. So when he's in the new world, he is listening to that world, trying to understand that world. It's important for him to not speak. To learn, you need to listen, not to actually use your words. And it is sort of, it's a form of colonization that when you come to a new world, you speak your world and you place your words on top of that world and that world's words. Whereas when you don't want to colonize, you don't speak your words, you actually listen to what the people who are there, or the land that is there, you listen to it. And that's a way of not colonizing.
So it's a way of maybe like showing how you would like things to be. It's about listening. And I also read that maybe with this film, I mean, there are many things in terms of, I guess, spirituality versus religion. Also, you portray, you choose this story to give voice to those that they are voiceless.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's now the time for us to listen.
Yeah. Christianity has a big book of words. It has a massive book of words called the Bible, and it's placed on top of all the other worlds, and it becomes like a law or an entity that tries to extinguish other spiritualities and religions. Its book, its power, its constitution in a way, and it's a dangerous thing. That the Bible can be seen as a dangerous thing by Indigenous people, because it does. It kills language, law, music, culture, land. It's a destroyer to Indigenous people. It's not a blessing. It destroys what we already have.
I feel that there is a strong need to really give value to all those things that have been destroyed. So tell me about your relationship with that need of talking about this, about how for you it's important to rescue the things that have been overwritten.
It's interesting because, you know, the film was specifically set out to, when he is baptized, his power, he loses his original power, and it just happens. You know what I mean? It just, a blink of the eye, and suddenly something that's 40,000 years old, a religion that seems to be able to coexist with land and humans, in a blink of the eye, it's gone. And we didn't see it. Well, we seen it in the movie, but it happened in real life, from South America to Africa to Australia, you know what I mean, through colonization of
all the indigenous culture have been overwritten.
It just happened.
They're
and it's
gone.
like extinction of spirituality happens all the time, just like animals, you know, or language, or, you know. And you have to, I want people to recognize that. And that's important to me, to make sure that people see the film, to understand that this happens all the time.
This supernatural power that the new boy has kind of represents all these traditions, right? And how do you arrive to, you think about, okay, how can I, because it's difficult to, how can I express this heritage, and then you choose to have this little boy that has this power, this light, this thing. How do you came with this idea?
It was important to visualize it, to create his connection to his spiritual world had to be visual, because he's not going to say, I have a connection to the spirit, to the spiritual world. I have a power. He's not going to say that. We need to see it, and we need to recognize it as an actual, a fantastical image, something fantastical, you know. So that was important, to make sure it was a visual reference for the audience. Yeah.
Instead of using the words, like you use an image.
The power for Christianity is in that book and those words, and they use the image of Jesus being tortured as their fantastical kind of world. So I needed to find something visual for a different world, so that we could understand there is a connection.
We know that, I mean, I read that this is a little bit based, of course, this is your culture, but it's also based on your experience, because you were sent to a boarding school when you were young, and the impact of that education.
Spanish Benedictine monks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bishop Salvador, his name was.
I think that, I mean, that you could make like a TV show on this. You know, how is the impact of Spanish Benedicts educating Warwick Thornton like 30 years ago. So
Taming of the shrew, sort of me, because I was a wild boy, and when I went to college, to the monastery, it tamed me. I needed stability in that. It's so funny. You know, one of the most interesting things is a lot of Benedictine monks, but a lot of Lutheran, you know, German Lutherans and that sort of stuff. When they first came to Australia, the first thing they did was they learnt the Aboriginal languages around. There's 400 different languages in Australia, Aboriginal languages, and we've lost a lot of them. But what they did was they would learn the language and they would write it down so that they could preach in the Aboriginal language.
Oh, wow.
And what happened is that because of assimilation and all the bad things that happened to Indigenous people, a lot of these languages were lost. But then suddenly we found the books from the priests and the monks who had written down the language, and now we're rejuvenating. You know, the Christianity killed the language, But actually, the book...
Thanks to them, you can rescue them
We can
back.
rescue it. It's a bizarre kind of...
It's like the story keeps, going
Yeah.
on circles. Or maybe we could...
the strange thing is they used it to destroy the language, but then they...
has become a...
to save the language.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, but I want share with us how was for you. Like, how old were you when you were in this boarding school with those Benedicts?
11.
11.
11. It was the first time I ever walked into a church.
Wow, and that impact, that moment, what happened?
I became afraid. The church is for me then it felt like a horror movie, torture.
Torture.
Yeah.
The imaginary or the experience that you
The
went
experience, but the visual experience of the man up there being tortured. I'm waiting for the day when they get him down and give him
cure him.
Yeah, they get him down and heal. Yeah, you know what I mean, and put him in. He can sit with us rather than being tortured up there.
I guess the contrast would have been very strong, no? Coming from where you come from and then being exposed to this new idea of everything
And you start praying and you start believing because you're afraid that if you don't,
you're afraid. It's based like okay.
It's fear. There's a lot of love, but then it all starts with fear. The fear starts that makes you you fall in love after they scare you. It's weird.
So that, but I feel like two things. No, in one sense, in the movie, we have the Catholicism, and at the same time there is like you want to rescue, you want to reivindication. I don't know if that's the word of your culture, your ancestor.
Absolutely.
It's like
balance. It has to be a balance.
Exactly. I mean,
Sister Eileen, Kate Blanchett's character, is not an evil person. She's not bad.
Yeah.
She's naive.
Exactly. You're not. It's not about bad and good.
No, and I don't make movies about
bad and good.
Bad person, good person. There has to be a balance that both people are slightly naive to.
Or maybe we are all a little bit of like trapped in our, or victims. Not victims, but they are. I mean, Kate Blanchett is also another result. As the kid is, exactly.
The new boys are survivalists.
Exactly.
Sister Eileen, the nun, Kate Blanchett's character, is just trying to survive.
Yeah, it could be. We could say it's a story of survivors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people just trying to survive, and
But I want, because we will have to finish. This is a little small talk, but I want you to share with us more like. The most important thing for you in this movie, what was?
Last night at the screening, someone fainted.
Oh, wow.
Someone fainted, and they had to stop the film, for 30 minutes. And they fainted when the new boy is pulling Jesus off the cross.
Oh, wow.
And I went, the power of cinema, the power of storytelling. The film is working. And then the staff told me, no, this happens all the time. I was like, no, boring.
No.
I thought my film was so powerful.
No.
Someone fainted. Oh.
No, okay, it happens sometimes, but it happens always. There is a powerful image on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So there are common images that we all react like in a very strong way. For example, when you see somebody giving birth, which we have one of those in this festival this year, more than one fainted. But having this image of Jesus, like when he's, that means it's a powerful image. Maybe not for everyone, but for the one that fainted, yes.
Thank you, because what it just was like, it's too hot.
It happens it happens when there is a powerful image.
Okay,
because
thank you.
we get the news every day, like what happened in this screening.
Yeah,
so,
and for me, that's the importance of storytelling. Is
the power of image.
Yeah, the power of image. I'm a cinematographer and a director.
Exactly, we were talking before. It's like
it's
when you start writing. You were sharing with me, like, before you think about the image, then the space, then about the protagonist, about the character, and then what could happen, right? Can you tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, why there's a room, there's a nun in it, and there's a half bottle of wine. beautiful image. But why is she there, and who drank half the bottle of wine? Then the story can happen for me, you know what I mean?
So you start with from an image,
Yeah.
then an space, and then you start to ask yourself what the character is doing there,
Yeah.
right? And how he arrived there or she.
And did they drink the wine, or is there someone else who drank the wine? I don't know. You know, to just keep the importance of storytelling and more about why. I like why, and I like audiences to ask why. I hate it when audiences totally understand my film.
I know what you mean.
You know, I've made it too safe. I like it when audiences go, I don't understand. But they use their own brain.
Try, yeah. I said,
think.
why is this boy here?
Yeah.
Why is this woman, Kate Blanchett? What is she doing there?
Yeah.
And how did she arrive? Because like
Yeah.
we ask ourselves, when is this? You know, and it's in the 40s, right?
Yeah, 40s. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sense of place is really important.
Yeah, the place is also a character.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you are from the desert, right? Where there is no water.
No water.
Okay, I can feel this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the sea. It scares me.
It's great. Listen, thank you very much. I mean, we didn't have time to talk about Kate Blanchett, which is always very interesting.
Yeah.
And I would love to know, how did you direct her? And I read a little bit.
She scares me.
She scares you. That's nice.
Very scared, which is a good way to be a director, is when you're afraid of your actors, because they're very powerful and very smart, yeah.
But so we will have time to talk again with her but it was great sharing this with you. Thank you very much for your film. Thank you very much for making those films that they want to give voice to the voiceless. And thank you very much for sharing part of your culture with us.
Yeah, thank you.
So,
Okay.
muchísimas gracias. Vamos a pasar ahora a ver un clip de la película de The New Boy.
To the Aboriginal Protector, Mr. Crank. I am writing regarding the progress of the new boy you sent us. After a shaky start, he is learning to read and to write. He has a passion for Christ, and I feel that he may even follow in my footsteps.